It does.
Yo,
Yeah,
what's
but
up?
SB.
SB, what's that? Yeah, I know Nike SB.
Hello, bro.
Special branch,
Nope.
police SB,
Actually, what is police SB?
special branch.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What's your SB?
Is the recent craze that now the government has shut down?
What is that?
Sugar book.
The sugar book. Oh, you mean? Yeah, I know Malaysia has a diabetes issue.
Yeah, there's a sugar and there's a book.
Yeah, Malaysia is a very sweet country. There's
It
a
is.
lot of diabetes lah. If you look
That
in
one day,
Malaysia.
man.
Yeah,
That
man.
Gula Melaka, bro.
Man, not only Malay sweets are sweet, Indian sweets, and then Chinese sweets, all three together, GG, bro.
What's a Chinese sweet? Example.
I mean, like white rabbit, yeah, something like that, I guess.
Indian sweet?
Like sugi and all that.
Malay sweet?
Onde, as you said, kochi and thing like that. You know, the gula melaka, you know. So yeah, you know, like combine that together, Malay, Chinese, Indian, all those sweet. Oh man, crazy lah, bro. How you expect Malaysian to jaga their sweet level, bro?
We gotta have sweets, man.
It's like breakfast. You go mamak, there's Indian sweets. Okay.
Hey, who eats Indian sweets for breakfast?
Okay lah, example lah. Okay. You eat Malay in the breakfast.
Okay.
And then lunch you eat the Chinese, and then for comfort food you eat the Indian. So there's like 3 sweets, bro. How you gonna like control this sweet epidemic right now?
I don't know, man. But like, people just want to spend their money on sweets, man. Why can't they just spend their money on sweets?
I mean, in the end, the sweet manufacturer wants your money, and you want the sweet. So it's a two-way communication.
I like how we wanted just some other thing.
Yeah, it's like it's a two-way communication. Like, yeah, honestly, consented, bro. I want a sweet, and you are willing to give me sweet.
Okay, so actually, yeah. So now that this is like that, how do you feel about that? About SB being banned?
Well, you ask me, I'm all about the freedom lah. As long as consented. Unless I want sweet from you and I take your sweet and I did not give you what you want. That one is very bad. That one is very bad.
It sounds like stranger danger.
That is very, very, very bad. You know.
I mean, it's a very interesting topic because mainly, you got like an avenue.
And not only that, what I don't like about it, this is a very hypocritical about society. If the sugar manufacturer decided to give you sweet and give you for free, then nobody will like give a shit. It's like, yeah, that's good lah. But then if you are willing to pay for that sweet, cannot, bro. That is very bad.
I mean, people who have the sweet have the power sometimes.
Come on lah. I mean, you're willing to give free for me, no worries. I'll give you tip, no issue.
Oh my god.
Two-way communication, bro. Freedom.
All I'm saying is that there's an avenue here and it has been demonized
Okay.
quite heavily recently.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know about whether it's right or wrong or all that stuff. Like that one, I'm going to leave it. But it's just interesting how that has been the subject of attention in the last couple of days, especially considering the recent studies that came out.
Yeah, I mean, sugar has always existed since the beginning of time. Right.
Yes, it has.
Yes.
Sugar has existed since the beginning of time, bro.
Yes. How come now only? Just because of a study? Everyone is aware of that sugar is an issue already.
I mean, everybody wants to eat sugar till someone says, "Hey, that guy's eating sugar," and then they're like,
But why now?
"I don't want to eat. I didn't eat sugar. It wasn't me."
I think my theory is, don't quote me on this because I like to talk a lot of crap. My theory is, there's a group of sugar eaters that are paranoid. They don't want people to know that they eat sugar. So they are actually lobbying the government to do something about this pandemic. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
If you guys didn't understand any of the innuendo or references we're making here, we forgive you.
Yes.
Like seriously.
I'm going around the bush. I've never actually said what is the issue, right?
Yes.
You know, that's the same thing with what SB is saying. they never said you have to do that, but in the end, it's your choice. It's all about consent.
But what about the argument that people say sometimes that SB is too loud?
I mean,
so they practically attracted this problem in the first place.
Loud in a sense that actually is a very, I'm not saying niche, I'm saying it's like only a certain group of people would want it. You know, if you are looking for it, then you will find it. But if you are not looking for it, you have another life, then you won't find it. It's the same like, oh man, I'm a vegan, I'm raw vegan, I don't like to eat anything unhealthy, I won't look for that shit. But then if a person is like, I don't give a shit, I want unhealthy shit, then they will find it.
Yeah, like, you know, at the pyramid.
The only way you know that this thing exists is if you come look for it.
Yeah, the lagoon.
Yeah.
You know.
That's my argument to you lah. In the end, even if you heard about it when you're not looking at it, let's say like your friend will just say about that sugar thing, you know yourself, you know your own principle, you know your financial issues. You know, if you can't afford it or your body cannot take it, then just don't take it. Don't make a big deal about it. You know, that's my.
And that was a health tip from Dazlan Samjis.
Yes, remember sugar. If you know that you can't take it because you can't afford it,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, bro. Put the wallet away.
Don't make the mistake where you want it so badly you're willing to take cash from a credit card, not from a freaking ATM, just to pay for 200 ringgit, 250 per hour sugar.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yes.
Well, anyway,
the interest rate will screw you up. Yeah.
I'm mainly just interested. I just find it fascinating that people are upset. I think in general, I mean, people are gonna get their sugar fix from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, let's say
like sugar gonna come from somewhere.
You know,
man.
it says that sugar has existed since beginning of time.
I know.
If you ban this, there will be another platform where you can get sugar.
It's just funny to me that people want to pretend like this stuff didn't exist before this.
Yeah, the thing is,
became a organization.
Yeah.
Now we're just trying to like, oh my god, it's a culture. Oh.
It could be a conspiracy where the other sugar platforms, sugar seller actually failed and they are jealous of this current one. It could be. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. You know, it's equivalent like Friendster. They are the pioneers.
You know what'd be funny? Yeah. Why don't we just have the government just legislate sugar? Just be the end of it. Man.
Yeah, I mean, like,
just go. Okay, now it's government owned. Okay.
That one is a bit far-fetched, but you know, you don't want the government to get
I'm
SST.
kidding. Please don't.
You don't want the government to give SST on sugar. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 6% SST. You know. Because it's considered a service. It's true. it's a service. It's recurring.
Okay. All right.
There's gonna be recurring fee. You do not want to pay that to the government, lah.
I don't know. I'm just like, let's all chill, lah. Let's relax.
They're just gonna have another platform, lah. It's gonna always exist.
It's going to always exist, exactly. So anyway, we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can end your thoughts on that.
I mean, it's all by choice, lah. Like let's say if one guy is an athlete, a football player, you know you cannot take sugar because of your job. You know your body cannot, process the sugar. Then don't take sugar, lah. All by choice. Yep.
It's your choice.
Yes. I'm all about freedom.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Great, we can wrap that one up. So let's now talk about the football topic that we all wanted to talk about today.
Yes.
And some people who are not having sugar right now, probably Andrea Pirlo, and a host of other players, Frank Lampard, another name that has had problems. And I just noticed there's been a trend recently, and I want to get your thoughts on this because it's actually quite interesting. A lot of football management jobs now, we're seeing more and more players becoming managers. Now, players becoming managers is not a recent thing. It's not something that is new or like
it's true. It's not new,
yeah
but we've never had we've never had
this class of like this
not
amount.
at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, one is literally one generation of footballers becoming a manager at the same time. We've never had this pedigree.
Yeah.
You know, usually it's like one or two great players from a generation. Only one or two becomes a good manager.
And at all the top clubs as well.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
finding like more and more football clubs are having players who are either they're returning
Yeah.
or they've played and they've retired and now this is their first stint at the job.
Yeah, and not only that, they practically took the job without experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Even before this, the great managers they would actually have experience. Like,
right.
usually it's like this. It's like let's say Kenny Dalglish. He's already a legend at the club and he's already groomed for that job. So once he
sat
retired,
through two legendary managers.
yeah.
as well.
So when he retired, he practically is already at the job. So that's a different case, you know. But we are seeing like something like Frank Lampard. That's a whole different case. He actually he wasn't groomed for the job. He looked for it himself. He went somewhere else. He went to Derby, and then he got appointed. That's a whole different spectrum of football player managers compared to Kenny
What about
Dalglish.
Wayne Rooney? Same story.
Yeah, yeah,
He's now the Derby manager, isn't he?
yeah.
Like he retired from football recently.
Yeah.
He's manager of Derby Football Club. You know.
Like we take a look at there's one Andrea Pirlo, obviously, but Andrea Pirlo and Frank Lampard are two different paths. Because Andrea Pirlo is a bit more on the Kenny Dalglish side. He was kind of being groomed, but it's the only difference that he did not become a manager straight away after retiring. But he went to like the youth team, MLS, and then he managed the youth team and then reserve team, and then only because Sarri got sacked, then he became. So it's not like as though they were like going out of their way to groom this guy to become the next manager. I mean, like straight away, like not something like that. Not like a Kenny Dalglish situation. And also Zidane, I think, is almost the same also. Yeah. He
That's the thing, yeah.
He became a coach when he retired, 2006, but he wasn't like straight away given a chance, you know.
And Zidane was coaching pretty much in the Madrid youth.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah,
as
for
well.
a long time,
and he took the Rafa Benitez to get sacked for him to actually come up.
and
Yeah.
get the job. That's the interesting thing that we're seeing right now. If you look at all the management jobs that have recently happened, I like to use this comparison because, okay, Pep Guardiola was Barcelona manager, Barcelona player,
Yes.
right? He was with the youth system. He grew, and then under Rijkaard, he was there.
Reserve manager.
Yeah, and then it came down to
Rijkaard resigning.
And what happened was Barcelona came up with the decision to select between our boys Mourinho or Guardiola, right? And Mourinho was the far more experienced manager in that situation.
Yeah, and he was a former assistant.
And a former assistant with
Yeah.
Barcelona, so he had ties with the club.
Yeah.
you know?
And as an assistant, he won a lot of things under Bobby Robson and Louis van Gaal.
Exactly.
So it's not like as though he was a failed assistant manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Porto, we can talk about all his achievements, but they went with Guardiola because it fit more with the club's DNA. And that turned out to be quite an inspired hire.
Yeah, and I think he has to play a role that he was a local lad and a Catalan lad as well. So that might not be the main issue, but you know, I'm sure he plays some role in that. So you can't get any more Barcelona and Catalan than Pep Guardiola.
I think the unique thing with Guardiola as well is that he groomed those players
Yes.
that came into the side at that time. You know, your
Yes.
Xavis, your Iniestas, your Piqués, you know. All these guys were under him in the youth sides.
Busquets, Pedro.
Pedro, and they knew his football when they went up. And so when it went up, it became more of like a natural
Yeah.
transition. And it wasn't all success at first. Like they lost a few games and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they went on to win the treble.
Yeah, and then they went on
But
to
I
dominate
remember
football.
when he literally got signed, Sports Center Asia at that time. I think the journalist or something was saying that they were doubting Pep a lot. You know, they were saying that Pep only got it because of his connection. It's literally what they said, something like that.
I mean, that's what I felt he did. He did get it because of his connection.
Yeah.
He did get it also because Johan Cruyff loved him. He went and he sat with Johan Cruyff, and Johan Cruyff was very much a Pep fan. You know, he thought Pep was the right thing, and he was the one that pushed for Pep to become the next manager of
Not
Barcelona.
only that, it's funny you said Johan Cruyff. Johan Cruyff is like one of the first legendary footballers that became a legendary
right?
manager.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I mean like a winning manager.
he had a footballing mind.
Yeah.
You know, like that was something that Johan Cruyff was,
Yeah.
and Johan Cruyff was very stubborn to the DNA of football.
Yeah.
How Barcelona.
And also Pep was Johan Cruyff's captain when
Yeah,
they won the European
exactly,
Cup. So, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like he had that connection.
So yeah.
And that's what made him more endearing. But I'm just saying that because you see now, right? A lot of people have gone into this thing. Pep is a very good example, but Pep was bred within the squad. I don't think I can say the same for people like Frank Lampard. for example.
Definitely not Frank Lampard. And he wasn't even groomed for it. He had to look at Derby, and even in Derby, he never really made his mark. You know. Then he went on to Chelsea.
People give him a lot of props for that Derby season, by the way.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't really make it, they didn't make it to the Premier League.
I literally after retirement, he was a pundit for a while, and then he decided to take up the mantle at Derby.
The route less taken.
Yeah, I mean, like Chelsea did not do much for him to be groomed. In a way.
Exactly my point, because I was so interested when because what happened was, I remember, was it the time when the sack happened for Sarri, and then there was a lot of speculation as who was going to take over the club.
Yeah.
And Frank Lampard's name came about, and I was a bit surprised because there were a lot of managerial names being thrown around. I think Allegri was still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I think there was an
I think
opportunity.
Allegri will always be gonna be with Chelsea, unless he gets signed with another club. Currently, right now.
Exactly. And then you had other names, coming up. And then what happened was they went with Frank. And the reasoning why they went with Frank was something that I didn't understand. What was the reason they decided to go with Frank? And then people said the reason they went with Frank Lampard was because the Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham connection, all these youth players that he coached in Derby, basically. And that was the reasoning he was given, And I just didn't understand. I didn't understand this concept between why they would hire a player like this for Chelsea Football Club. Because we know that Chelsea is a very short-fused team. And I know a lot of Chelsea fans are like, oh, they've hired Frank. They're never going to sack Frank Lampard. They're never going to do any of these things. They're going to be like, they're never going to do this to a club legend. I was like, come on, you guys met Roman. Roman let him off that season because they didn't have a transfer window.
Yeah, I honestly, benefit of a doubt, he did pretty good for a team that couldn't sign. Granted, he had a pretty good team.
But then you saw what happened when he could sign players.
Yeah, I mean,
when it came time to vet senior players into that team, he could not do it.
I mean, that's true. But honestly, I thought he was signing players for the sake of it.
I have to question whether he wanted to sign those players.
Yeah, because the director of football is a lady now that's worked under Abramovich.
I think she's a decent football.
It's true, but
got nothing to do with her being a lady.
It's not about her. But she has been groomed from Abramovich literally since 2003. She was just a PA first, and then she worked her way up to that position. So she will always be more stronger. Closer.
Have more of a voice.
Yeah, than Frank Lampard, no doubts about it. She's literally been groomed, like not just in football, as a person as well.
I think like her power is one thing, but how Frank has managed the players is another thing that I think people don't want to talk about.
So the thing is, what I see, Frank Lampard really has that his uncle's old school genetics, not genetic but style. He will be like finding people if you're late in training. There's actually like a spreadsheet, like it was viral last season, saying like if you do this, you get fined. No smoking, no something, control your diet. You're late to training, your wages cut. I think in today's day and age, a lot of players are not gonna accept that. And I don't know. How about you?
I just think that mainly with Frank, like he was pushed into a job too early.
Yeah.
He did a good job in the first season we saw with the youth guys, because those were the guys he ride and died with, right?
Yeah.
Like you know what their strengths are, you know how to motivate them and all this. But now suddenly you throw him in a situation where, who's your forward? I got Timo Werner, I got Tammy Abraham, I got Olivier Giroud, right? So you got to pick a forward every week, Then you've got the situation where his goalkeeper, You know, it didn't change much until the new guy came in, Mendy.
Yeah.
And even then, he didn't manage Kepa the right way. Everything just destroyed Kepa's confidence.
To be fair, it's happening with 3 managers now as well. Kepa, so okay.
But you see, my point is, since Tuchel's come in, he's playing Kepa more now.
But he actually went. That's the thing. Yesterday, he actually said, even though Kepa was playing against Newcastle where they won, he still went out and said that Mendy is the first choice keeper. Don't you think that's going to destroy Kepa's mind?
In my opinion, that's going to destroy Mendy's confidence more than anything. The manager had to come out, because every time a manager says that he's still this first choice thing or whatever, it's always the other way around.
Then he's going to destroy 2 players. Kepa, who's playing, but then the manager saying that the opposite thing. Mendy is still number 1, and then Mendy is like.
Look, it's the same thing, right? Always with this kind of thing. I'm going to go back to Frank here. Frank had said Kepa's our number 1.
Yes.
But then he went and put Willy Caballero in there in so many games. And towards the end there, it got bad, right?
Very bad.
It got very bad, and the players turned on the keeper. You know, I think because he mismanaged that situation, because he didn't know how to handle a competing squad. You know, in the Premier League, which is difficult for any manager, let alone a new manager, a guy who just came into management. You know, so that's one of the things. You know. You see what kind of trouble Frank has had, right?
Yeah,
and then let's pivot straight off, right? And look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mikel Arteta. 2 guys who are players. 2 guys who, well, Arteta was more successful in the sense where he was under Pep for a lot of the Man City reign, right?
Yeah.
And Solskjaer, because Norway and
he won. He dominated Norway with Mold.
Yeah. And then he went to Cardiff, got a reality shot there.
Yeah.
And then he came back and managed Manchester United.
He came back to Mold and won another few more, and then came back to Man United.
But you see, like, we went from I love the Manchester United management tree. We went from Ferguson, Moyes, Mourinho, Van Gaal, Solskjaer. Like, I'm not saying that's Solskjaer's done impressively.
Ole at the wheel.
Ole's been at the wheel recently. You gotta give him credit.
That is.
You gotta give United credit. Recently, they have not spiraled, not the same way that Liverpool and Arsenal have done in recent times. You know, but at the same time, people question Solskjaer's credibility as a manager. They question whether he's any good.
Is he the right guy?
Is he the right guy? Yeah. Is he able to make this Manchester United competitive?
And then apparently now the biggest issue now is Jesse Lingard is being actually good at West Ham.
Actually, Jesse Lingard is an everybody problem, not just the Solskjaer problem.
So then, no, he had a good form.
Yeah.
And then people are saying, he doesn't know how to utilize Jesse Lingard and all that. Granted, only a few matches played.
Jesse Lingard is a token footballer.
But then, like, people say that he doesn't know how to use Pogba and all that. You get that argument.
Yeah, I get that argument. Yeah, I've heard of that.
He's biased with Martial and all that. But then again, this is a manager that bought Bruno Fernandes.
He did buy Bruno Fernandes.
And Fernandes is actually like owning it. You know?
I just wonder if we're looking maybe too much into Solskjaer's credibility as a manager. Sometimes we don't do the same things when it comes to Frank Lampard, for example.
Yeah.
People didn't really question Frank Lampard that much. And funnily enough, Solskjaer finished above Lampard last season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
So I'm just wondering, like, where does it come into? Is it maybe gone too far with this players becoming managers thing?
I mean, I'm always interested in that because we don't see that much of it. And I don't know, former players, especially legends, I think have the hunger.
Right.
In a way. I don't know. For me,
Because
I would like to see like this is gonna be like an underdog story in a way. Yeah.
But you can see, right? Like, the danger has become. Liverpool hasn't been doing well recently. 3 losses in a row.
To be fair, like,
and then a lot of fans, like, not all of them, but there's a good number of fans that have contemplated bringing Steven Gerrard as the manager of Liverpool to take over from
you read about
Klopp,
that.
you know. And I'm like, whoa, wait, guys.
First, have you seen what happened to Frank? Second, let him win the damn Scottish League first.
Yes.
Even though it is going that way.
He has not won the Scottish League.
Yet.
Yeah.
So let it go that way first. And then we'll do something about it.
Yeah.
Because either way, Klopp's saying he's gonna leave after the end of his contract, right?
I think leave, but there's this sudden thing when things go wrong. We're all like, whoa, hey, well, let's bring in Steven Gerrard, man.
Yeah, Steven Gerrard is obviously a legend footballer, but then aren't you undermine the fact that Klopp is also a legend in your club? He bloody brought back the European Cup and the EPL.
I mean, look throughout history, right?
Yeah.
Ferguson was not a Manchester United footballer.
Yeah.
When he took over at the club, he was from Aberdeen.
Yes.
You know. Then you look at.
Granted, he was winning with Aberdeen.
Huh?
He won things with Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Cup Winners' Cup and all that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't like he wasn't.
He was not connected at all.
Yeah. And what about Arsene Wenger? You know, Arsene was.
He was from Japan before.
He came from the J League.
Yeah, J League. Granted, he was a Monaco manager before that, but still.
Yeah, he's still J League.
Yeah.
He had no affiliation with Arsenal.
Yes.
No, like playing history with Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know. Then you got Mourinho. What do I need to say more about Jose Mourinho that I haven't already said in wide words of things? Yes. He's management personified.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's been through every level of management. My biggest fear is that every time a big club opening, like when it comes out, right, it's gonna be always like, you know, I think for a while United fans were like really obsessed with Ryan Giggs becoming the new manager.
I mean,
before Solskjaer, remember?
I think yes, but then not much because I think he managed like 10 games.
Yeah.
After Moyes or something, and then it did not prove a success.
How about freaking Gary Neville becoming the Valencia manager?
Yeah, and
Gareth Southgate becoming England manager, but Gareth Southgate is legit. Gareth Southgate is legit because he managed the youth levels first.
Yes.
But even then, I don't think it was like the top prospect for.
Well, again, he got the highest finish in modern times since the 90s for the World Cup for England. So, okay, benefit of a doubt.
I think he's won some leeway in that sense.
Yeah. Semi-finalists, you know.
Yeah.
He broke the penalty curse in it too. So, okay. I mean, okay, Steven Gerrard, obviously, he did it the right way, I think. Not just say the right. There is no right or wrong way, but he did it in a way that, for me, will benefit him the most compared to him being groomed under Klopp 100%.
That's what I'm saying about.
And it's not as though he wasn't groomed. He was in a way. He was like a youth team manager there.
Yeah.
And he groomed he literally
the
trained
youth guys, Curtis Jones and all these guys.
And a lot of youth players that he trained, he bought to Chelsea, Celtic, Rangers.
Yeah, Rangers.
So
They're about to be champions.
Yeah.
Not yet though, but they will be.
I mean, just because him winning the Scottish League, I mean, in a way, one thing I like about him, he took the long way lah. It's not like he took an easy job, you know.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right?
This will be the first SPL that Rangers won
since their
relegation and administration. Technically, it's a new Rangers, so this is the new Rangers.
No, but that's my thing, right? He has revolutionized the way Rangers have played. I cannot say the same thing about Frank Lampard and any of the jobs he has been in. Think about it, and think about what Gerrard had to go through. He had to face off against a regular powerhouse, which is Celtic. He had to go through a losing season first.
I think 1.5 seasons, he like really got damaged, owned by Celtic.
Yeah. He had to go through that heartbreak twice.
Yeah.
He had to go through a Europa League process first.
Yes.
Look at them now. Now he has made that team in his image. They're playing a style of football he can live with. The players there love him. They freaking love him. The fans love him. In their Europa Cup campaign, they're top of their group.
Yeah.
They came out of that group.
They're still in.
No, if you had told me that Rangers, Europa League for Scottish teams, Europa League, maybe Celtic goes through once in a Celtic,
while. In recent times.
In recent times.
I mean, obviously, Rangers was a finalist in 2007.
Rangers came from administration.
Yeah. This is the new Rangers.
The new Rangers went back into the Europa League, had a season where they struggled in the Europa League, and then we had a season where we're seeing them now just beat good teams.
Yeah. Like, okay, people are like stepping on the fact that this is technically a new Rangers, you know.
Yeah.
The old Rangers was technically administered and bankrupt.
Yeah.
This is a new one, even though it's the same, obviously.
But like, and I'm saying that
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard has made that team
Yeah,
relevant.
literally into his.
Yes.
They can't use any of their old success to say that they got this new success. They can't say that.
The
'Cause
whole team ground up.
Nothing, yeah. Of course, they still have
With
stadium.
like minus the budget of Celtic.
Yeah,
Like that's how they're doing it right now.
yeah.
I'm just saying like Stevie's going through the process, right? And that's what I was saying with Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard made that jump from Derby to United to Chelsea, and I was like, what the hell? I can argue, okay, in Zidane's case it worked, because he's engrossed in the DNA of Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So he went into the senior side, his kids were all there, settled, he's a club legend. The formula worked, and they won multiple Champions Leagues. It helped also that he had Ronaldo and all these other guys at the time. You know, he had the best squad. Then I come to the Pirlo situation, and I feel like Pirlo is a smart manager. He's a smart player. When in his time, he was considered a very savant when it comes to football. But then I felt that now that I'm looking at Pirlo, he looks like he's a bit out of his depth at the moment in Juventus.
I mean, if they ended up not winning the league, which is
They won't win
unlikely.
it. I don't think they'll win
It's-
the league.
I mean, like, okay.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
because
okay.
you know,
Let's just
I
say
love
the
Juve.
title race is out. He's probably gonna get. People are gonna look on paper. They've dominated the 2010s. They've won like a lot of back-to-back Scudettos, and then suddenly this new decade comes in. They didn't win. You know, they're gonna ask who's the manager.
Pirlo.
Yeah, then that's gonna be a bane to his record lah, in a way.
So do you think that maybe Juventus jumped the gun here? They should have gone maybe with a more experienced manager, or
Honestly, I really thought they should have stayed with Sarri, if you ask me.
they should have stuck with
It
Sarri.
was a panic sack. They got out of the Champions League. In his case, there's only one leg. It's not like they lost 2 legs in the Champions League. It was a panic sack for me.
Panic, so.
Yeah, and like
I mean, there's all the maybe Juve wanted to clean house.
I mean, you can't do that. You just signed Sarri for 1 season. You know, it's
They
like-
should have given him more time.
Yeah, more time. Like, it's literally got sacked after winning like the Scudetto. They won the Scudetto like before the season ended. So they won it, and then they played the Champions League and they lost, and then got sacked. I think he lost against PSG. I think
Right.
against the team that's gonna be a finalist. So I mean, I don't know.
I just think like we have this, right? And it's like, again, players becoming managers is not a new thing, I'm saying.
Yep.
But the trend has tended to be to do it this way. Again, like people like Jurgen Klopp and all this stuff, yeah, they were players, but they had a natural progression into becoming a manager. You know, whereas Andrea Pirlo went from what? Youth side MLS to Juventus.
Yep.
It's a bit of a jump there. Arteta's another guy who, different route from the other guys. He was an assistant manager to Pep. He had assistant manager experience dealing with league winners every year. Then he had left and gone into his own job at Arsenal. And the job at Arsenal is a big job.
He took on the Mourinho route in a way.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. Except
Yep,
he was a much better player than Mourinho ever
of
was.
course, yes.
And, you know, probably I feel like Arteta probably is a bit more, what's the word? You get the sense of feeling that he's a
For
bit
me,
more.
It's true. I think he is going to be more lenient. He's going to get more leniency compared to Frank Lampard, because Arsenal is already in a transition, so they were expecting that.
Yeah.
And just keep in mind, I think he is not yet 40. I think he'll be 40 next year.
Not 40 yet.
So 39, 38. So I think give him time in a way. Yeah, even Frank Lampard for me. Frank Lampard is a systems, long game systems manager. Because I really liked his first season, like when he trusted the youth. I mean, Chelsea was never the team that gave chances to the youth at all. Never, historically never. In the Abramovich era.
Which is why it was shocking for me to see Lampard
You know
even
what?
get
I
this
can't
job.
even name you a first 11 or first team youth players under Abramovich, barring the Frank Lampard era.
John Terry.
John Terry was not. He is before the. He was already playing before the Abramovich era. In fact, even Frank Lampard was bought before the Abramovich era.
Joe Cole.
Joe Cole was from West Ham, and he was before.
Technically. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't say Glenn Johnson as well. He was from West Ham. like
Glenn
no.
Johnson
I
flopped.
can't even name you a top 10 academy players that came from.
Most
the
of them
Chelsea.
left.
Yeah, most of them left, and they never came back.
Became better elsewhere.
Yeah, and then never came back. So I mean, I don't know, man.
This is one of those things, right?
It's like your George McEachran and all that. Just no.
The one kid they have right now that I'm really like, Billy Gilmore.
Okay, let's just hope the next manager gives trust in him.
But I don't think Tuchel's gonna do things.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I know Tuchel has this Dortmund thing following him around, but Dortmund were doing that far way beyond like Tuchel.
Yeah, but
you know?
hopefully he knows how to deal with the German players, or he knows.
He better know how to deal with the German players, man.
Yes. And how he can fully utilize Pulisic.
So like in general, now you have this whole thing. Thierry Henry is with the Whitecaps.
Oh yeah, I think he failed
in Canada.
Yeah, and
He failed in Monaco
very
and all that.
badly, and he was an assistant at Belgium.
Yeah, and the Belgium national team.
That
yeah.
became third. That was not bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to see more of this. You know, you're bound to get a success somewhere. You know who else was a successful player that became a successful manager from previous generation? Obviously, that's Frank Lampard.
Okay.
And also one player that people keep forgetting that was a player, Ancelotti.
For AC Milan.
Yeah, Carlo Ancelotti was a first teamer in AC Milan.
Oh.
He won the European Cup in the 80s, granted in the 80s or something. And yeah, so I want to see all these players. So like you said, it's not like as though it's a new thing that happened in football.
Do you think that now this current trend we're seeing, we think we're ever going to see another Ferguson?
Currently, right now, with how football has changed with the director of football and all that, system, maybe not. Maybe
It's just so interesting to me that Eddie Howe is a guy who is not getting any job offers at the moment.
Mhm.
Steve Bruce is a former United player. He's there. Our boy Big Sam is at West Brom.
He's always a plan B somewhere.
Somewhere, like he's
Yeah.
always there.
David Moyes has become one of those guys, and he's doing wonders this season.
West Ham is doing damn well.
Yeah, they're doing very
At this point of the season, like I'm actually afraid they might finish above us.
yes.
Like
They
there's a
might-
little
they
legit fear that
are in the potential to get fourth, but mathematically,
So my thing is that now, is there ever going to be that journey manager that goes from, he goes through the natural progressions of things, and then gets into the big club and gets their shot at managing the club. Guys like for example Eddie Howe, or guys like what's his name?
even Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers.
But he was not a player, I think.
No,
He was never a player, but he came
I
from.
think he was a player, small time maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So do you think we're ever gonna get that kind of manager?
Yes, but via the smaller clubs, not directly from above. From above, it's probably going to be a club legend that's been groomed.
Because you're seeing all the big clubs now, they're pretty much going
They are grooming all this.
like they're taking the Barcelona route.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sign him. I'm not gonna bring in a Mourinho or a guy who's going to like shake the boat. I'm gonna bring in a guy who knows the club DNA.
Mhm.
A former player.
Yeah.
Because former players seem to get the best reaction out of the fans as well.
Not only that, like Barcelona, and obviously it worked for Zidane as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. I mean, as I said before, I like to see more players transition.
You want to see more players become managers.
Yes, I think they just, over time right now with the director of football and all that, it's becoming more monetary. So I want a guy that actually
Has
knows
passion for
game.
the club.
Yeah, like Frank Lampard really has passion. There's no doubts about that. It's just, there's there's a benefit here and a disadvantage there. So
Frank Lampard has passion, all right.
Yes.
Tries to pick sideline fights with people.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, like we want, like maybe that's the reason why player managers are in fashion now.
Yeah, and also like
you have the guys making the calculated decisions and the director of football and all these people, and you can just have the manager be the spokesperson or.
I mean, there's also another route, the player becoming a director of football. So I think
Edu
PSG,
did that.
I think Dunga was once. No, Leonardo.
Yeah. Leonardo was one.
Edu,
for Arsenal.
Edu,
And
So
who else?
I can see Matthew Flamini doing those things. For some reason, he has that director of football look, and he's like a millionaire.
Take my money.
He's literally a millionaire,
All
bro.
my money.
He is literally a millionaire now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
He just a fun fact. He's delving into alternative energy. And
But
he's
you can
balling
see
it right now.
also the thing about director of football is it would be good if more footballers go into that route. But that is a route actually I feel that is great for minority people. For more female involvement in the game, you know, and maybe more younger involvement because look at Michael Edwards, where he came from. He was a video guy.
Yes.
Then he became director of football.
Okay.
You know, so maybe that position is more for diversity and more opportunities for people outside of football to get involved. Like ideally, right, you would want an analytics person to be your director of football.
Yeah.
Or a corporate person to be your director of football.
Yeah, that's true.
At times, if you can combine that with a footballer, that's fantastic. By the way, if you can
Especially
do all
with Liverpool using Moneyball right now.
yeah. Can you imagine if one day Zlatan decides to become a director of football?
I won't be surprised that one of the perks will be that you will have stock in the company, in the club, you know.
Yeah. I mean, he probably demands that.
Yeah, and he will probably like really be passionate because he has stocks. He will literally try. I'm gonna make this $1 billion club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, the possibilities are endless. You can have so many different types of people in that position.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's why footballers who can become managers are more popular now. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for me, the next one to watch for is obviously John Terry. Other than that, I'm not sure who else.
I think Stevie. Like,
No, he's already a manager.
I know, but like Stevie, the next step, I want to see what he does.
Okay.
I don't want Stevie to just jump straight into Liverpool
Okay. Yeah.
because I feel like he has more to his journey.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not in the hopefully in the Premier League, maybe not in the Premier League, maybe in the La Liga, or maybe in the Serie A or the Bundesliga.
Okay.
Like if he has an opportunity in one of those kinds of clubs, maybe you know Stevie in Bayer Leverkusen would be a fantastic manager. I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a club that kind of fits his whole ethos anyway.
Okay.
I'm just, but
Pretty
again,
interested
I
in
don't
that.
know. I mean, he could come in and sit with the backroom staff at Liverpool. I wouldn't mind that either. That's perfectly fine. You know, a help club. You know, that might be good. But yeah, I think the trend is recently showing. I think I see it as an uptrend. I think it's going to happen more and more. You're going to see more and more of these players who transition to become managers very early. But I don't wonder if that is a detriment to them more than a benefit.
Yeah. That's
You know what I mean? Because you want to see managers go through the progression rather than being thrown into such a huge job straight away. One guy, bunch of people who have lived and died through this. You know, Patrick Vieira in Nice right now. You know, I don't know. They're not doing very well. Again, French teams in general. So, what do you guys think about players becoming managers? Are you for the uprising trend of the big clubs hiring players to become managers, or do you prefer a more slower process where you bring in a manager who has had so much of experience and success built over time and experience to come in and manage the club? You know, basically it's the time-old tradition that Barcelona had to answer. Would you want a manager like Pep, who has been coaching the youth team, or would you want someone like Mourinho, who has a very impeccable CV?
Yeah.
You know, as a manager, managing your team. I think would like a guy like Pep more towards the ethos of the club, more
Yeah,
passionate about
more
the club,
passionate about the club.
more passionate about the club, less like
Less on the financial side.
less on the methodical, like trying to be everything kind of thing.
Obviously, the manager financial is good, you know, but
Not
we need
the
a football
important thing, right?
We need that passion, you know.
Yeah, or you prefer
The rivalry, you know. Imagine former players that were rivals as players, and then they became manager, you know. It's
course,
not
yeah.
really seen that much.
I mean, we're seeing it. We see it right now when Frank and Arteta face off, right?
Okay, yeah, all right. That's one. So
That was one example.
yeah. So like Pep versus Zidane, not really. They were not in the same era.
But then again, we always love to see managers fight each other too.
Yeah,
Like Pep and Mourinho was some of the most legendary battles
Yeah.
known to mankind. Ancelotti versus whoever.
Yeah.
That's a great battle too.
Yeah. Ancelotti just hates Liverpool so that much. Yeah. And then Klopp against everyone. You know.
Klopp
somehow.
against everyone, always. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So that's why you are towards. I'm towards the side that I want to see managers go through the progression before they reach the stage of becoming a manager of a big team.
Yeah.
You know. So that's something that I like. But tell us what you think in the comments below, and
Don't forget to smash that like button.
smash that like button, guys, and subscribe, please. And we will see you on the flip side.